My name is Jeffrey Smith. I enlisted in the Army as an infantryman in September 1997. I served 3 years active duty in the 3rd Infantry Division and then enlisted for 6 further years in the Florida National Guard. I was a grenadier with Bravo Company, 2nd of the 124th Infantry, and was deployed to Camp Anaconda, Balad, Iraq, in early May 2003. I was honorably discharged in January 2004. I reside in Orlando, Florida, and was raised as a military brat. My father served 2 tours in Vietnam and is currently rated 100% disabled by the Veterans Administration due to PTSD and Agent Orange exposure. Upon deployment to Balad, my unit was primarily tasked with gate and perimeter security at Camp Anaconda, the largest of the enduring presence bases in Iraq. Providing security at the front gate, one of the daily rituals we were tasked with was clearing Iraqi nationals who came to work on a daily basis on post, doing such jobs as filling sandbags, clearing rubble and trash, etc. These Iraqi nationals were paid $1 a day and were given an MRE for lunch. They worked under extreme conditions of heat and dust, oftentimes 130-degree temperature, and were always escorted by armed guards. Every morning, the Iraqis that wanted to come on post to work were herded into a barbed wire enclosure, many times too small for their number. Pushing and shoving often started fairly early in the morning. You had several hundred men gathered together, and they would oftentimes start pushing the men in the front into the barbed wire. And in order to get them to stop doing that, we often used physical force. In fact, physical force was used almost on a daily basis. This included shoving, butt stroking the Iraqis who were in the front, threatening them with bayonets, and there were several occasions when we actually locked and loaded our weapons and told them that if they didn't stop shoving and pushing each other, that we were going to open fire. One of our other responsibilities at the front gate was to search the several hundred dump trucks and semi-trailers that were coming on post every day. The dump trucks were also driven by Iraqi nationals. We had 1 or 2 interpreters usually on duty with us, but inevitably there would be miscommunication. The Iraqis wouldn't understand what was happening. And on one day, apparently an Iraqi truck driver, a dump truck driver, didn't understand that he was supposed to stop and continued forward in his truck, and my team leader interpreted this as a hostile action, ran over, yanked him out of the truck. The rest of my team responded. We basically beat the crap out of this guy, pushed him down in the dirt, detained him, roughed him up, and told him that he was not allowed to come back on the post for at least a month. This was obviously his only livelihood, so I don't know what he did for the next month. There was another incident where an Iraqi dump truck driver was out of his truck, and apparently he got excited about something, and he started to run by me. I clotheslined this driver, knocked him to the ground, and then realized that he was running over to say something to his friend who was ahead in line in front of him. I was congratulated for this by the rest of my unit and was told that this was exactly the way we should behave, and we should carry out our duty at the gate. One of the other missions that we were occasionally tasked with was raiding houses in the local area, especially when we first arrived in country. One of the houses that we first raided was supposedly the home of a former Bath official. It was the middle of the day when we raided this house. When we arrived in the neighborhood, we were told that we were going to try to force the front gate open to the house. But apparently the armored cavalry unit that was with us had other plans in mind. They rolled over the front wall of the house, destroyed the vehicle that was inside, and upon entry to the house, I was second in the stack of formation of troops that went through the gate. There was an older female who was in the courtyard by this time, and she was screaming something unintelligible in Arabic. I didn't see her as a threat, so I continued on past her into the building itself. One of the soldiers behind me apparently thought that she was a threat, butt stroked her in the face, knocked her to the ground, and someone after him apparently zip-tied her and took her out into the front yard. Then we proceeded to ransack this house. I was in the master bedroom. There was dressers and wardrobes. Wardrobes were locked. We pulled the doors off. We turned everything in the room upside down. We went through everything. Personnel in my unit that were in the kitchen turned the refrigerator upside down, pulled the stove, actually broke the stove, pulled it out of the wall, broke the line to it. After we searched through the house, we had everyone, including the children, zip-tied on the front lawn. Apparently, someone in my chain of command realized that we had the wrong home. We were on the wrong street, that the home we were supposed to have raided was actually behind this house on another street. So we went over to that home and raided that house. Actually, going through that gate of that home, I actually almost fired on a person that I believe was mentally disabled. He apparently he didn't understand what was going on. He was standing in a window directly in front of us, and in the initial first few seconds of going through the wall, I actually thought that he was a threat. Almost fired, and then realized that there was something wrong with him, and he just didn't realize what was happening. We searched through that home. Detained the person that we were supposed to detain, and upon searching the home, we started coming across all this paperwork in his office and in his bedroom, and it looked to me like he was an algebra instructor, maybe at the local high school, maybe at a local university, because there was just reams of stuff that was math problems. This guy is supposed to be a former Bath official. We took him, put a sandbag over his head, loaded him on the truck, and we started back towards Camp Anaconda. He was actually on my vehicle with my squad, and on the way back to Camp Anaconda, it was about a 45-minute drive. My squad leader thought that it would be funny to pose for a picture next to this guy, and he asked me to take a photo of him and this detainee, and I refused to do so. I didn't believe that that was the right thing to do, and upon arrival back at our quarters, I was disciplined for quite some time for this, including physical punishment, because I had disobeyed him in front of the rest of the squad.